Hey Stampers, welcome to Brandy's Cards. So I'm really excited that you guys have tuned in today. Have you heard all the buzz about the new Stampin' Up! Blendability markers? Well, if you haven't, I am so excited to introduce these things to you. They're fantastic. Now, did I really know how fantastic they were? I'm going to be honest with you, I did not. I had never used alcohol-based markers before, and you know, I loved the Stampin' Up! Markers, and my girlfriend Leah kept saying, oh, you've got to try the alcohol-based markers, and I'll be honest with you, I was very intimidated, and I started watching some videos and was like, oh, wow. So when you guys see how amazingly vibrant the color is with these markers and how you can blend with them because they are alcohol-based, which means that the alcohol or the ink is suspended in alcohol versus water-based. It is amazing. So now I know some of you are like, well, what does it matter if it's suspended in water versus alcohol? Well, when it's a alcohol-based marker, it's going to allow you to blend these colors beautifully, and you're going to get a smooth transition onto your cardstock, and you're going to be able to blend them. Whereas you kind of get streaks and lines when you use a water-based marker. So that's really the biggest difference. Now, I just love these. Now, Stampin' Up! We have 6 different colors families out right now, and then of course we have the neutrals and some of the skin tones and the color lifter. And when you purchase our new Blendabilities, you're going to purchase them in one pack of Coastal Cabana. Is going to be light, medium, and dark Coastal Cabana. That's right. There's lots of different techniques in using these Blendabilities, and you know what? Again, I have maybe done 10 flowers, so you have to forgive me. I'm going to show you, this is probably going to be number 11. So I'm going to show you the progress and how I am learning and how much fun I'm having. And I can't wait to tell you all along the way about how awesome these markers are, because I know you guys are going to love them as much as I do. So before we do that though, let's go ahead and get our card started, because I know that a lot of you enjoy seeing how I put the card together and how the whole process takes place. So this is Melon Mambo cardstock. All of the sizes and dimensions will be on brandyscards.com. No need to worry, you're going to be able to find it there. I'm going to go ahead, this is the decorative dots embossing folder. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Melon Mambo cardstock in here, and we are going to run it through our Big Shots. I love my Big Shot. Let me just tell you, that thing rocks. I don't think I could live without my Big Shot. I am telling you what, it is cool. All right, so I'm going to put it on here, and I am going to run the Melon Mambo cardstock through the Big Shot. So it's going to give us this fantastic texture from the decorative dots. All right, so let's set this back down. And let me open it up for you, and then I'll get the ooh and the ah. Yeah, really? No, I really do think that every time I open it, I was like, wow, that is really cool. So we're going to fold this in half. Now, you guys would like to see the card first, wouldn't you? I know you would. All right, so this is the card that I did originally. This is in the Blackberry Bliss. I am digging this color, let me tell you, fantastic. And then this here is the, I believe these are Hello Honey. Let me just make sure. Oh, this is actually Daffodil Delight. So these are the Daffodil Delight Blendabilities, and I mean, wow, right? Take a look at the highlights and the tones in that. Oh, I'm just like, I love it. I love how we can attain that. And I don't call myself an artist, but I feel like an artist when I get these in my hands. So I'm excited for you guys too. All right, so today, instead of doing it in the Blackberry Bliss and the Daffodil Delight, we're gonna go for Melon Mambo Coastal Cabana. So what I'm going to do here, in order to get my the cardstock in the right place, is I'm going to just set my cards next to each other. And this is just kind of a little tip. If you have a card, just set it right next to it. Or if you're at a stamp camp, you just set it right next to it. Kind of compare where it's at. No need to measure. You know, I'm not that picky, honestly, and every card is unique. Every card is unique, and every card can be different. So you know what? Don't get hung up on that, okay? And don't let anybody next to you get hung up, on it either, all right? Because you know when you are at classes and the gal next to you, she's just like speeding through it, and you're like, oh, I'm not even done yet. Don't worry about it. All right, so here's Whisper White cardstock. I just set it on top of Coastal Cabana. I'm using my finger, and I'm using my finger as the guide to tear the paper towards myself, and that is going to give me like a straight line. So now you guys know how much I like to tear paper, and you know, I like to kind of give it that intentional rough edge look. All right. So let's go ahead, put a little bit of Tombow adhesive. I like to use Tombow glue. Of course, you can use snail or anything that you would like. You do not have to use Tombow. Just because I use that, you know, you're welcome to kind of use whatever you like, whatever feels best. I just put some Tombow on the Whisper White piece, and I'm just going to layer that right on the top. And I'm telling you, this, like, these colors are just fantastic. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our the stamp set that I'm using today. Let me tell you what that is. That is the Blended Bloom. I love this stamp. It's very organic. It's got a lot of open space for coloring. Okay, and because our blendabilities, because they are an alcohol-based marker, you're going to want to use a Memento ink pad. Okay, so that is really important that you use a Memento ink pad. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up, and I'm going to close my Mementos. I'm going to stamp it on Whisper White paper. Now, another key feature is, in order to get your blendabilities to work to their maximum or to the best, you're going to want to use our Stampin' Up! Whisper White paper. And why is that? Well, because we developed these two products together. We developed our blendabilities to work with our paper so that you get the best results, and so that you get the most vibrant of color. So it's really important that you use them together. Now again, I do not consider myself an expert in alcohol-based coloring or techniques, but you know what? I am not afraid to try, and I am not afraid to dive in and show you guys what I can do 10 flowers later. Okay? Now I have been told, and from my experience, you can start with the lightest color and work to the darkest color, or the darkest color and work to the lightest color. It's entirely up to you how you want to do that. So now let me just tell you guys, it is a little tough to get the caps off these things, and you know, Stampin' Up! Actually did that on purpose. The reason is because you don't want your alcohol-based markers to dry out, right? So I thought, well, maybe I'll put some Vaseline on them, and I've been told, you don't want to do that because you don't want the lids to come off because it will dry up your marker. All right, so you give the Mementos, after you stamp it, give it about 30 seconds to dry, so you know that that black ink is dry and it's not gonna cause any smearing, okay? So here I've got the darkest Coastal Cabana, and I'm gonna start right here, and what I found worked best for me is I am gonna start on the bottom of the petal, all right? And I am just going to, I'm going to color about 3 or 4 petals, and really what I'm doing is I am outlining the bottom of my flower. That's right, I'm just outlining the bottom of the petal. Now I'm going to grab the next color, and I'm going to use in a circular motion, I'm going to start on top of the darker color, and I'm going to kind of use this circular motion, and you'll see that at first you can still see the line of the darker color, but as you keep going and you keep, you know, coloring over the top of that, what happens is that color starts to fade and you start to get that gradation. Okay, so now let's go to our lightest Coastal Cabana. We're going to go to the lighter one. Now, one thing that I think sets these markers apart from our competitors is that the tips on these, you have a fine point tip. That's right, you do have a fine point tip and you have a brush tip. And I like the fact that these are nylon. And the reason why that is so nice is because they don't fray. So that's just a really nice little tidbit there, a nice feature to have. Now, what I'm doing, again, is I have started from that darkest color, and I kind of like to just color that whole white spot, just kind of give it one good color with this lightest marker. And I'm just doing a circular motion, and I like to blend towards the center, okay? But again, this is just how I have found it to work for me. And as I keep playing with these and I get better and I get better, I'm going to show you guys all kinds of fun techniques and ways to do this. Okay, so I'm going to go back in and I'm going to grab the dark marker again, and I'm going to start coloring another 3 or 4 petals. So now I hear a few of you out there, you are saying, now Brandy, why in the heck didn't you just color all of the dark ones first? And then you could have just really easily gone in and colored, well, you could color all the other ones, you know, all the medium, and then you can go back and you can color all of the light ones, the light Coastal Cabana. And you know what? In theory, yes, that would make sense, but we're using alcohol-based markers. And because of that, you know what? The best way to get that great blendingness, I guess, is you kind of still want that ink to be fairly wet. So that is the key. What I found is if you let that sit, the longer it sits, the harder it is to blend. That's right, it gets much harder to blend the longer you let it sit. So that is the key there, ladies and gentlemen. You just want to make sure that you start that blending and you don't let that sit for very long. Now, one neat thing is you will notice that a really good coat with this marker, you'll start to notice that it will start to kind of blend through on the back of your cardstock, and that is totally okay. That means that you're doing a really good job blending, and I promise you, you're not going to pop through your paper. That is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so I'm going to do another 4 petals for you. All right, we're going to do 4 more petals. We're going to talk a little bit more about how I'm doing this. And I'm also going to kind of show you kind of I'm using sort of a circular motion as I'm doing this, okay? And so we're going to go back to the medium one. Here we go. There's the medium one. So now I am using kind of a circular motion. And as I was doing this and I was trying to figure out, now how can I describe to you exactly how I'm doing this? Well, I'm starting on the darker color and I'm kind of circling the darker color out. That's right. And you know, the idea is you really want to kind of let go of those fine lines. Now, you know, you don't want that streakiness that you're going to get with the water-based markers. All right. So let's go back and let's grab the lightest one. Now, one thing is I've noticed when I first start coloring with these markers, and so I did the first 4 petals and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's pretty, but it's not really looking like anything yet. And well, I wonder if I'm doing it right. I wonder, you know, and it's really easy to give up. Let me just tell you, it's really easy to give up because you're like, you don't really get the wow until you get down the road. And I will pick this up here momentarily and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. Do you see that? See, it just takes, you got to get a few more petals under your belt and it will all start to come together. I promise you guys that. Now, why are our markers flat? Well, they're flat because they store nicely. Okay, that is one of the reasons why they are flat. And you know, the other reason is you don't want to store them upright on either end because you want the ink to settle evenly. Okay, so that's really important. So just make sure that you know that they aren't stored upright. The other thing is these markers are more affordable because they are consumable, and because of that, that makes them more affordable. And it's easy, just if you run out of a color, then you would purchase another pack. Okay, so now I went ahead and I did finish one because I know that it takes me probably, because I'm new at these blendabilities, it probably took me 10 minutes to color an entire flower. But really, I mean, 10 minutes. I mean, I loved it. I love watercoloring and I love my aqua painter. So you know what? I didn't mind it one bit. It's really actually a lot of fun. So I'm just going to set this aside, because you bet I will go back and finish it. And so here is the one that is finished. So we're going to move on and finish up our card for today. So over here I have got the thick baker's twine, which I love. And this is and it's new for us this year, so in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. Speaking of Stampin' Up! Catalog, I haven't even showed you guys our catalog yet. let me show you the catalog. It is awesome. All right, Stampin' Up! Catalog. It is live. This thing is finally live and it is going and we are all so very excited. We've waited and I have to tell you, it is fantastic. Great, great stamp sets in there, especially with our new Blendabilities. Now you can find them on page 212 and so you can see all of the colors. Right now I think we have 6 different sets that are available to you. However, as time goes on, we're going to introduce some more color families, so just keep that in mind, okay? That there is more coming. All right, so let's go back to our baker's twine. I just get off on these tangents, but I know you guys are like, that's just you, Brandy. You're just a knucklehead, but it's all good, right? All right, here we go. I just tied a little bow here. And with my, you know what, I have to say that I really like working with this thicker baker's twine versus the thinner baker's twine. Now, I like the thin baker's twine without a doubt, but I just think that my fingers get in the way sometimes of tying bows and things with the thicker baker's, or with the thin one. So I'm just gonna cut the bottom of my bow so it looks nice. There we go. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some Stampin' Dimensionals. Love these things. They are the best for sure. And we're gonna add a little bit of pop dots back here to kind of add some lift. I'm just gonna stick this right here in the center of my flower, or in my white Whisper White cardstock. Now I could totally color this flower and it would be beautiful and done, but what I decided to do is I have my 1 1/4 or 1 1/4 scallop punch, and I decided, because I wanted a little bit more lift, I went ahead and I've punched out one of those. I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional here in the center of my flower, and then I'm going to add, you know what, and before I add that on top of the flower, what I recommend you doing is take your lightest Coastal Cabana. Oh, that's hard to get off there. Take your light Coastal Cabana and just sort of color those white edges so that it blends. That way you can't see, because you can see a little bit of the white of the center of the flower. So I just recommend, go ahead and take a little bit of the the light Coastal Cabana and just sort of color it so it's not quite as obvious. Okay, so there we go. So the last thing that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to show you, is the Starburst sayings. I thought these were adorable. They coordinate with our Starburst framelits. That's right, and I've got the smallest one here. So they coordinate with the stamp set. Fantastic, love them, and when you use them with your magnetic platform, it's great. So I picked out, let's see, what do I have here? Thanks so much. I've got some Strawberry Slush cardstock. I'm just going to go ahead and stamp that. Just like that, straight up, straight down. And we're just about done. I'm gonna cut this off because I don't want to run my flower, my half-done flower, through the Big Shot because I'm excited to finish it. So I'm gonna take my regular platform off and I'm gonna pull up my magnetic platform. If you don't have a magnetic platform, well, let me tell you, you need one. They are just the best. They are truly the best. So let's put this on here. And I'm going to sort of line up my Starburst. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'm just going to line that up on there. And then I'm going to put my next plate down. Let's run this through the Big Shot. And it's going to pop out of there. And we're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done. I love the Strawberry Slush on here. It's fantastic. Okay, see that there? Very cute. Thank you so much. Yay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just pop it right on the top in the center of my 1 1/4 scallop. There you go. Oh my gosh, I love this card. I love it, I love it, love it. And this is using the Coastal Cabana Stampin' Up! Blendability markers. I mean, they are just so awesome. And I'm really, really excited about these markers, and I hope that you are too. And you know what? I hope that you give them a try. It's fun because you can totally see here how, the shadows and the highlights and, how you can really play with these markers, and you can get so many different looks and depth, and you really feel like an artist. So I just really like those. I'm excited to show you down the road that we also have the color lifter, and I didn't show you how to use that today, but I promise you I'll be doing many, many, many more blendability cards for you. But the color lifter, it's not an eraser and it doesn't really lift the color, but you can actually kind of push the color back inside the lines of your memento stamped image. But it kind of, honestly, it just kind of fades it a little bit, so it blends it a little bit better. And you can also add some highlights and that sort of thing inside of your flower or whatever the image is that you're coloring. So I really appreciate you guys stopping by today. And you know, before I go, I have to tell you that today, as you're watching this video, the Stampin' Blendabilities will be available at the end of June 2014, beginning of July 2014. So they are not available right this minute, but they will be available the end of June 2014. Okay, so check back at brandyscards.com. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm actually going to make one of these cards in every color. So if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for subscribing to my channel, but hop over to brandyscards.com and check it out in all the colors that are available. It's just going to get you super excited. So, you know, I don't know if you really want to. No, trust me, you want to. They're awesome. Well, thanks so much for stopping by. I appreciate your time, your consideration, appreciate your business and your friendships, all your emails. I just am grateful. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a great day.